Hello. Very good evening to all. Uh, very good evening. So we were late 4 minutes. I'm sorry, it's some technical difficulties. Fantastic. Very good evening. Awesome evening. I've been waiting to do this live for a long time because this particular topic has been frustrating me for a couple of years now. So my name is Issac Theophilos. For those of you who doesn't know me, and I am a care home consultant, very passionate care home consultant, wants to help the sector as much as I can. Hence this live page. I would like to have a very interactive live with you guys. It feels very awkward to face the computer camera and talk to myself. So if you could put something in the chat, that would be great. Very good evening, everyone. Ben, very good evening. Helen, hi. Lynette, I hope I have pronounced your name right. Very good evening, awesome evening. So today we want to discuss something very interesting. Should CQC inspections be more collaborative? So what put your thoughts in the chat or whatever you feel. I will go through my content first, and then we can have an interactive session afterwards. Fantastic. Thank you, Lynette. So what's the meaning of the word collaboration? Collaboration means two or more people or two organizations working towards for the same goal. So what is the goal for all of us here? Whether it's local authority or care quality commission, or the care providers, managers, nurses, carers, all of us have the same goal. The goal is to provide amazing care or outstanding care for the people we look after. There's no disagreement to it, isn't it? So everybody has their own approach and their own interest in doing this service, but the goal is same for everyone. So ultimately, we all should be working together. High standard of care. That's absolutely right, Helen. A very good evening, everyone. Welcome. Thank you very much. So the first one is, what is collaboration? The collaboration is people working together to achieve the same goal. In our case, it's delivering the best possible care for the people we look after. I always tell people, when you provide the service, there's nothing less than outstanding care you should be aiming for. So always try to have that mantra in your handovers, in your staff meetings, in your governance meeting. Always push the tagline as, we are here to provide the great care for the people we look after, and we are not going to accept anything less than that. So that's your mantra for going forward. If you are not trying that, when you push that message every day, people will feel like, okay, we are here for a purpose, and they will deliver the purpose for you. So today we're going to focus only about CQC because those of you doesn't know what CQC is. They are Care Quality Commission, the regulators who inspects care homes in England. The normal process, where we also have local authorities, CCGs. We are not. That's a whole other session. Today we are going to only focus on Care Quality Commission inspection, how we can actually make it more collaborative. So the normal process is that after the pandemic, CQC has become more data-driven type of organization. So they collect data or intelligence from the care providers in the form of PIR, or from the local authorities, from other partners such as CCGs, NHS. So they collect a lot of data from health and safety executives. So they collect a lot of data from these organizations and from ourselves as well before coming to us for an inspection. And they also send us PIR. Now the PIR is sent annually as a routine practice. That's not an indication of your care home is going to be inspected. So they collect PIR as well. For those of you who have filled PIR in the past and now will probably understand the difference in the PIR form. The difference is it's more data collection now rather than more narrative type. So I think previously we could have included a lot of narrative type of explanations, but we cannot do that now. I have no idea who implemented that system, but I hope that's implemented for the good purpose. And then they will have regular conversations with the manager over the phone, over the Zoom, or whenever there is an issue, they pick up the phone and ring us and ask us for an explanation, send the evidence to them. Then there will be an inspection, unannounced or announced. Sometimes you will get to know that they will be with you within 48 hours. Sometimes not. They will just turn up at the time that they want to inspect. So if there is a concern that people are being not looked after at nighttime, they can turn up at nighttime. If they suspect that people are being woken up at 5 o'clock to get washed and dressed and put them in the lounge and doing nothing until the breakfast is done, then that's not a good case scenario. They will turn up at 5 o'clock as well. So it depends on the concern they have. They are allowed to come into your care home without your permission and do a random check if necessary. And they usually do that on a very high safeguarding or high risky services, or they have allegations of those kind of abuse. Then after the inspection, they usually give a feedback, which is part of the regulatory process. But nowadays, I am hearing from a lot of providers that the face-to-face feedback is not becoming normal. So they want to spend less time within the care setting, and they go back and they have a Zoom call, or you will get the report. Then you will have your draft report coming to you if there are no issues. If there are issues, they will actually send you a notice of proposal or warning notice, or any, it depends on the degree of severity of problems going on in any care home. And then you have the factual accuracy process, which is by, you get the chance to tell, if there are any factual correction that need to be done in the report before it is published. So factual accuracy, the success of factual accuracy is questionable, I would say. I have worked with many care homes in submitting the factual accuracy. It all depends on how much evidence, the strong evidence you have to present. So if it's not written down, that means it's not done. So unfortunately, that's the case. So if you want to have a successful outcome for a factual accuracy, you need to have a good evidence to back up your claims. So far, so good. I hope this is so far helpful for you. I haven't told you anything new yet. But I want to share some of the experience that I've been going through working with some providers. So if you feel like you are enjoying the show so far, please put something in the chat so that I know that I am speaking to people, not the computer. So, and then publishing the report. Then you will get your report published, and it will be visible for the public, and the public can read your report in a layman's terms, without much jargons or explanations. So they will be able to understand. The purpose of the report is to read something very simple to understand for laymen in order to choose a care home that they wish to choose. So that's the purpose of the CQC report. And it's very generic. I think some care providers try to learn by looking at the reports. But if you look at all the reports rated as good, most of the reports are very, very similar. And there was even a case of cut, copy, pasting the reports about number of care homes, and that happened last year. So you have to be learning good reports. You won't really learn much. You want to improve your care service, I would recommend you to read not outstanding as well, because there's not a lot in outstanding as well. I will recommend you to read inadequate reports, so you will understand the in-depth of what you can improve in your care home. So what can go wrong? This is a normal process. So they collect the intelligence, they send you the PIR, they have a conversation with you, then they will have a inspection. That's your judgment day. Then they will give you a feedback, and then they will send you a report, and then you can challenge using factual accuracy, and they will publish the report. Once the report is published, that will stay within your care home, attached to your care home for a number of years. It can be 2 or 3 years. According to the new process, it can even take longer, because they don't need to review your rating if there are no concerns. So that's the line of direction that CQC is going through. So what can go wrong? So what can go wrong? So that's the interesting bit. What can go wrong? The inspection or the report can go wrong when you have a subjective opinion from the inspector. So, for example, if somebody wants to inspect your care home, so audit can be very subjective unless they follow the framework they are using is so robust. So even if you have a framework, it can be opinionated. So when you have an inspector who is very opinionated, whatever you say that, then you will have a problem of even though you have some kind of evidence, but that's not enough to please the inspector, then that can go wrong. So whenever somebody has an opinion or somebody has a perception, and due to that reason, they want to give you a negative rating or report, then that will be the start of the problem. And sometimes the CQC inspectors are in a very big rush, meaning they come to your care home for 2 or 3 days with limited resources. They want to push out the report as quickly as possible, less time taken. They move on to the next care home because there are 15,000 plus care homes. They don't have time to analyze everything in detail. So when they have not actually seen the evidence properly, they might send you a report which is half true. Does that make sense? So they might send you a report saying that this is not right, but you may be thinking, okay, I have got more evidence which I can send it across to you, and they haven't actually seen that on the day of the inspection. The third thing, the wrong report can get published. So that's very, very crucial for any business, for any care home business or care business, dom care business, whatever the business is. In order to set up a care home and say, you are actually building a team, a lot of people are actually reliant on your care business, the number of clients staying with you, the number of staff and their families depend on the income from the care home. And then you have the provider itself has started the business with a purpose to make some profits. So there are a lot of stakeholders involved in it, and there is a lot of blood and sweat goes into these care services. And all of a sudden, you have a subjective, opinionated inspector coming in, and they, due to their report, your business will be in the brink of collapse. So that can also happen. So when you have a negative rating, the downward cycle starts to happen. What happens is your rating goes down, you are less competitive than your competitors, and less people will come to you, the money is less, and hence you can push more money into developing the quality. You can't pay your staff very well, so it may trigger the downward cycle of the care business. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Lena. And hi, Troy, as well. Nice to see you here, Troy. So having a negative report without proper consultation or collaboration can really affect care homes. So if there are concerns, I totally understand. If people are providing unsafe care, then those care homes needs to take action in order to improve, or they will have to start a factory or something, because that's not the business that they should be in. So the purpose of the care home is to provide the best possible care. And if you can't do that, please exit the sector. That's very, very important. If there are concerns, yes. And if there are no concerns and still the report is being presented as a negative type report, then that's not fair either. So how can we develop collaboration? So far, I haven't reached my point yet. So I explained what the normal process of an inspection is and what can go wrong. And now we need to think about, what can we do actually to collaborate, improve the collaboration between CQC and the care providers, because there's a lot of the stakeholders involved in this process. So are you finding this useful so far? So you really want to avoid being a victim of a subjective inspection or being a victim of having a poor report because you haven't actually provided enough evidence. You don't want to be a victim of this kind of scenarios, because once the report is published, that's going to stay with your care home for a number of years. And during that time, if your reputation will be affected as well. So it's very, very important to get the rating that you deserve, and you prepare for it and you make that happen. So preparing for CQC inspection and assessing yourself against Chloe's, that's a old topic for a different session. But today, our focus is how can we improve collaboration with the CQC. So, what do you do normally to improve collaboration with your inspector? What are you currently doing to make sure that you're having a good conversation with CQC even before they come to inspect you? What are your strategies? What do you currently do at the moment? So first of all, probably an inspector will have, so how can we, the focus is now on how can we improve the collaboration. So preferably care home inspectors will have allocated number of care homes for, let's say, 30 or 40. And then there will be a manager as well. So the inspectors will keep on changing. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, Ben. So inspectors keep on changing. They might leave the job, somebody else come in, and you will have a different inspector taking over the area. So things can happen. CQC is an independent body, and they don't want to be friendly with us, and that's not the goal either. So the goal is to provide outstanding care, and we agree on a collaboration where we are providing outstanding care, and this is how you do it, and how do you want us to evidence that to you? So that's a question you should ask. So they're not there to be friendly with us, but they are having a very good relationship with us. But at the same time, you really want to develop a relationship with them by telling them the things that's happening in your care home, the outcomes you have achieved. Just inform them. They probably will not respond to you. They will not come and tell you that's really good or cool, but it's good to let them know that this is happening in your care service. At least once in a month, just push out a newsletter or email, include them in, and then tell them what's happening in your service, what outcomes you have achieved. Or tell your clients to put a review or feedback in the CQC website. So that's one way of telling them that you're really doing a good service. So what happens is everybody knows this, and knowing this information is not enough. I think making use of this information, and when you action it, that's when the results comes in. So always, like Troy said, I usually contact my inspector now and then just to maintain relationship and seek advice. The people who come as inspectors are normally experienced managers or from the social care background. So you probably want to seek out an advice to them. They may not be able to tell you that, this is a specific form that you should use, or this is how you should evidence, etc., etc. But they should be able to tell you, give you a strategic direction, what you should be doing. And when you do it in the same way and give them feedback as a good student, they will be very impressed, saying that, okay, they have followed my advice and I'm very impressed. All the good teachers love good students who follow the advice and do something about it. So that's one, develop a good relationship. You should put that into your calendar as a mechanism of liaising with them once in a month at least. That's very important. And it's not to make them feel like, we are doing amazing things. Also share the challenges you face and how you overcome. Don't just share the challenges. You have to tell them what you have done about it. That's what they want to see. They do not consider them as enemies or friends. I think I will don't consider them as a negative aspect. They are good people. They want to see the good. Majority of them want to see you progressing and succeeding. I think always approach with that mindset and attitude, with the open approach, and that will give you the same results as well. Most of the time, what we see in other people is a reflection of ourselves. So it's very important that you keep your mind open, so that you can accept inspectors and their advice and improve your service. And ask for clarity. If you don't know anything, you ask them for clarity. That's very important. And I strongly recommend, when you have an inspection, you push them hard so that they will give you a face-to-face feedback on the day of the inspection. Ask them again and again, tell them that we really want a feedback, proper feedback. And during the feedback, you ask them if there are any major concerns, if they want any further evidence. So you show them the evidence straight away. That's very, very important. I think that's where things get missed, because they leave the site and then you will have to email all those over to them. That will take another 1 or 2 days, which is going to kill your time. That's time away from your residence. That's not what you want. So encourage a face-to-face feedback after the inspection. That's very, very important. I think under the current circumstances, they want to spend less time in the service. But if it's a good rated care home, you may not have much problems. If it's outstanding as well, you may not have much problems. But you shouldn't get a requires improvement or inadequate rating based on not collecting enough evidence or proving your evidence on the day of inspection. I hope I make that sense. So face to face, you can solve a lot of problems by speaking to them and being honest and truthful to them. If you don't have evidence, then there is no chance to prove your care home is good. So whatever you do, you write it down or in a very simple format as much as possible. I'm not a believer of complicating things. Delivering care is a simple thing. It's a very straightforward thing. It's not a rocket science. So you want to evidence in a simple format as well. And I've been to a number of care homes, and some care homes do the documentation or they overdo it, and some doesn't. So it's very important that you simplify your systems and processes so that it's easy for everybody to understand and follow. So that's very important as well. So how can you develop collaboration? One, having a good relationship with the CQC and share with them what you do regularly. Put that in your calendar and always treat them with respect. And they're not your enemies or they're not your friends. Have an open-minded approach when you speak to them. Always ask for clarity. If they have commented on something, always ask them, why have you said that? Or what have you seen? Which care plan were you referring to? Which medication chart or which staff were you speaking to? So you are allowed to ask that question in order to get more clarity. And remember to encourage face-to-face feedback. So recently I came across a situation where the inspector left. They had number of days within the service and they left. And then they sent a letter of intent saying that that's going to affect your registration criteria. And they're going to impose some sanctions as well. We had to sit within 24 hours to submit some evidence to them in order to lift that sanctions. So it's very, very important that you have a face-to-face feedback with your inspector and give them everything that you have on the day of inspection to clear out any misunderstanding in how they perceived it and how you have presented it. So you may have evidence in different formats, but it may not be in the way that CQC wants. That doesn't matter. The regulation says this needs to be done, but it doesn't say it has to be done this way. So it's very broad. If you look at regulation 18, it says you have to give periodic supervisions, but the inspector can't really demand you to do supervisions every month or every 2 months because it says periodic. You can, as an organization, you can decide what is periodic. So I hope that was helpful. So improve the collaboration. That's very, very important. I think you need to encourage your inspectors to tell you what's going on and what concerns can be addressed on the day of inspection, etc., etc. What are your thoughts about this? I think we really need to encourage this because we can't just let inspectors come in, they look at the half evidence and they give a judgment rating which we don't deserve. I think we have to, both of the Care Quality Commission and the care provider's intention is the same. The goal is the same, to provide outstanding care. And there shouldn't be a process of the paper battle between the provider and the inspector, and then you get a solicitor involved. That's going to cost you a hell lot of money, and that's going to drain away your energy, time, and resources. It's all something that you want to avoid. So that's very, very important. So improve the collaboration. You can get away with 80% of the problems you face during the inspection. I think you can be really successful by having a good relationship with CQC. Anybody else wants to ask any questions, or they want to share some thoughts? Yes. Absolutely, Lynette. Yes, definitely. Especially when CQC has not been out to some of the homes for 2 years. Yes. Also remember the inspection day is your judgment day. Inspection rating has a lot of influence or impact on the care services business profile itself. So it's very important that you get the right rating that you deserve. Ben says, I was extremely fortunate because my inspector wanted to give face-to-face feedback. Fantastic, Ben. Only main issue was a minor care plan concern, which she gave me the weekend to address and return to her. I did, and she was satisfied. Other inspectors might not have been so lenient. Yes, it does happen. So when you have a very good care home, they will tend to accept that. But when you have multiple number of concerns in a care home, they tend not to wait too long for you to address things. They just give you a rating and then they just move on. Fantastic. I hope that was really helpful for you. If you have any questions, you can of course put that in the chat now. If not, have an awesome time and have an awesome night. Thank you for joining me for this session, and let more success come to you. And share this page, like this page. I also have a Facebook group which you can join, which we share only positivity in the group. And that's it. And have an awesome night. I hope you have an awesome night. Have an awesome care home business, or whatever you have, or the dorm care business, and let more blessings come on your way. And thank you very much. Has anybody got any more questions, or shall we wind up for tonight? Thank you, Karen. Nice to see you again. Oh, by the way, I have to tell you that there is a yoga session we are planning to do starting from this Sunday, which is a paid course done by care manager turned yoga teacher by Vita. And then, which is an amazing program. I have signed up my wife for it. I can't do it because of the childcare. So you must definitely look into it if you are feeling overwhelmed and you want to control of your mind, and you want to connect with yourself a bit more. And I'm also doing my 7-day challenge again on December the 5th, starting December the 5th. So come and join for 7-day challenge. It will be a life-changing experience for you. I'll share some amazing strategies to help you to become a better health professional, and which will help you to achieve more in life, have calmness in your life, be more productive and see the positive things around you. That's something. So 7-day challenge.